What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Secret Restaurant Podcast. Today's episode will be read by the author. My name is Nate Hoyle. How do you guys feel about audiobooks read by the author? When you hear the phrase, well, a lot of you probably don't think about it at all whatsoever. Some people don't even know who wrote what book. They just know the title of the book, which is totally fine. But for all of you scholars out there, when you see that the audiobook is read by the author, what is your initial reaction? Because for me, I feel like a lot of authors, ironically, are not as good of readers as the pros. And furthermore, I think there is a trend where they're trying to get famous actors to read audiobooks, like Hollywood actors, and those are very hit or miss too. I have heard some great ones, which I won't confuse you or bore you with listing who the great ones were, maybe another time. But yeah, there's a whole skill set of audiobook readers, like actors who specialize in audiobook reading. There are some real great readers that that's their purpose. That's what they're meant to do. And then sometimes I feel like either the author reads it or a famous actor who isn't really good at voices or sometimes it's just like not a good actor is reading it, if I'm being real. I'm not gonna name names, but there is one particular one who was I've never seen him do very many characters even. And he's reading all these audiobooks that I enjoy, and I even have some of them. And I'm like, I wish that literally anyone else read this. Some people, when they read, I'm talking like an asshole because I'm not perfect either. I'm actually not as good a reader as I would like to be. But sometimes when people read stuff, they tap into one type of flow. And then I think like the really great ones know how to create sort of different rhythms and different patterns and notes. And then also when they do the characters' voices, it sounds like different characters. And it probably takes forever. Or maybe it's a practice that they practiced before and then they can knock it out. Because some of those audiobooks, man, some of them are like 40 hours, take forever. Just to end that little rant on Ray of Light, a rainbow. Great actor who does audiobooks. I listened to Tim Robbins do Fahrenheit 451 and was pretty impressed. At first, when he reads the paragraphs, I was like, okay, this is what I expected. And then once he gets into the dialogue, it's like very exciting to listen to him do different characters and stuff. So that was a famous actor. Will Patton is also a actor. He's been on Apple shows and movies and stuff, but I know him primarily for audiobooks, and he is my favorite reader, Will Patton. Go out and find Jesus' Son by Dennis Johnson, read by Will Patton. It's under 3 hours long, and it's the greatest short story collection ever written, and it's the perfect reader, the greatest reader. I'm about to ramble. I had a weird moment, because Dennis Johnson, I talked about him a bunch vaguely, because I had my heyday of digesting and absorbing his work 10, 14 years ago. This is something I need to work on myself, because when I was reading Dennis Johnson, this is so stupid, such an internet thing, but his Wikipedia page, literally, this is kind of how you tell how famous authors are in my mind. A lot of authors, when you go to their bibliography, you can't click on each individual book. There will be like maybe one or two hits, or some of them have no books that have their own pages, Wikipedia pages. And back when I was reading Dennis Johnson, there was like a page maybe for Jesus' Son, like hardly any pages for his individual books. It was just like a list of them. And I went back to his Wikipedia. He died in 2017, maybe. I went back to his Wikipedia this past week, and all of his books have pages now. And my first instinct is like, wow, everybody's late to the party. But I need to get that's such a bad reaction. That's such like a shitty reaction. My real reaction should be like, hell yeah, I hope people read him forever. It's a great thing that more people are finding his work. I don't know if anyone else gets like that, like oddly protective of the things that they enjoy. It's kind of that, I don't do this personally, but it's kind of that same reaction as like the old dude seeing a young person with a band shirt and being like, name 3 songs. It's like that same sort of energy. I feel like I've lived like that a long time, though, been like protective of art that I enjoy and discovered and thoroughly researched. And then all of a sudden, anyone who starts to like them after me is like a threat to me somehow. Makes no sense. But anyway, long story short, I'm trying to work on seeing it as a really good thing, because it is. Because I hope they keep printing his books forever. I hope people keep reading him forever. And then later on, like this weekend, I saw that they're coming out with a film for one of his novellas, Train Dreams. And so I saw that, and I had to fight the instinct to be like, wow. Instead, I had to be like, I hope that film does really well. I hope that everyone discovers that book now and reads it and celebrates it, because they should. I have gotten way off track. So what was I talking about? I was talking about audiobooks. And audiobooks read by the author, read without the author there, read partially, the introduction read by the author. I've seen that before. Nah, but I was thinking it's interesting. I started listening to something because I finished Erasure by Percival Everett and didn't feel like jumping right into another laborious reading. I wanted to just listen to something without reading. And so one that had been on my list for a while is this book called All Fours by Miranda July. And so I just started listening to that audiobook because it's funny. I was thinking about this. I don't do ebooks. I find them kind of agitating. And if I were to start buying ebooks, I would end up with like 500 of them downloaded that I had not read. I just know myself. And so I'm just not going to do it. But I was thinking about audiobooks now are almost more available to people than just the actual book are, it seems like. Because we have all these outlets where you can either pay for them, or some places you can just have a monthly subscription that you can stream them. There have been a bunch of times where I'm like, oh, wow, I would like to read that book. And then I think about it, and then in that moment, I could just go to one of my various streaming outlets and go listen to it right away. It's an interesting thing. I don't know that much about whether or not the sort of streaming of audiobooks is just as toxic as streaming music. It probably is. But I was, for example, this All Fours book by Miranda July, instead of going out and buying a hardcover book for $30 or whatever, or ordering it and then waiting for it to get here, and then maybe I don't even want to read it anymore, I just listen to the audiobook. It's like a click away. It's like easier. Not to mention that listening is easier than reading. And that's a whole other conversation that I think there's a lot of benefit to actually reading a book. Psychologically, but also you can get more out of it looking at the words, especially if you're a writer and studying craft. But if it's a book that you aren't sure you're going to be like stuffing your face through it, just setting it on the table and slamming your forehead against it, audiobooks are just a click away. This is not a sales pitch.
Today's episode is brought to you by Audiobook Central, your one-stop shop for audiobooks, all your audiobook listening.
But yeah, All Fours is read by the author, read by Miranda July, and I'm only like an hour and a half in. I can't remember how long the book is, maybe 9 hours or so. 8 hours, 9 hours, 9.5, 8.5, I don't know. All of that's to say, I think she is a good reader. And I think also she's an actress and a filmmaker and other things too. I don't really know. I didn't really know that much about her until after hearing about her novels, but apparently she's also a Hollywood gal. I'm liking the book all right. It kind of is, I'm probably not the demographic. There's like this subcategory of authors, specifically what I've seen is mostly women, who a lot of their writing seems to be, the purpose of it is to just be picking apart at things and insulting them and being nihilistic towards the world. And so far this Miranda July book seems to be falling under that category. And that, I mean, maybe my explanation was too broad because a lot of art does that. But I think there's a difference, especially in these writers I'm talking about, where they kind of destroy and humiliate the characters within their stories in a very flat way. I think a lot of it has to do with tone too, where the writing is so surgical and almost not flat, because there's like, for lack of a better word, the terrible word, there's poetry in the descriptions and in the writing of scenes. But there's also something very flat and strategic about the writing that, like, when they talk about these characters, especially male characters, or maybe I'm just more sensitive to that, where they just like surgically destroy them in like a flat and very accurately legitimate way. This book is strikingly similar to what I've read of Mary Gaitskill too, who's an author who was kind of infamously known for her nihilistic descriptions of romance, or loveless romances, or terrible romances. Like I said, I'm only like an hour and a half into listening to it, and also with the audiobook, maybe it is how she reads it too, but there's sort of just like this assassin level lethal way of picking apart characters. That's I don't know how I feel about it. I think partially just because of my own reading of like thinking about the writer as much as thinking about the story. I can't help but think of that sometimes these moments are cathartic for the writer, in the way that they humiliate their characters or bring down their characters. And I've been on the record of saying this because a lot of times I don't really like nihilism being the forefront and the majority of fiction. I don't like unlikable characters as a whole that are nihilistic typically. Usually if there's going to be unlikable characters, there has to be a sort of redemption or a sort of obvious satire at least. Like a obvious like humor to it, instead of just like coldly depicting someone as like a loser. Real mean girl shit, right? Beautiful women are just so mean. What else? Yeah, I'll talk about it more because I really haven't even had a chance to think about it too much, except that the genre itself I have thoughts on, and those were them mostly.
He was a pea-brained man, obviously from the coddled generation, looking for attention.
Went to an art fair this past weekend. It's Wednesday now, so a few days ago, I think on Sunday. Don't you love art fairs? You got to start going to them and supporting them, you know. Would you rather give your money to Ronald McDonald, or would you rather give it to someone who painted a picture of Ronald McDonald and is selling it for $45? Yeah, I was perusing the art fair, and I did end up buying something while I was there. I bought a California burrito from a food truck, and I sat down, I ate it, contemplating getting a cold one, but I didn't get a cold one. It was a real adventure for me that day at the art fair. So if you close your eyes, you picture walking into the art fair with your eyes open. What you're picturing is your eyes open, but right now your eyes are closed, just to be clear. You're not walking into the art fair with your eyes closed. You know what? You don't need to close your eyes, actually. Forget I said that. You're walking into the art fair. Which booth are you going to first, okay? Are you going to the ceramic pots? Are you going to the booth with strange industrial structures, sculptures made out of pipes and clocks? Are you going to the paintings of pop culture figures? Al Pacino as Scarface on a canvas just for you. You tell me. Let me know in the comments, gang. When you go to that art fair, where are you going first? Maybe you're going to the wooden carved sculptures of birds. Ooh, how about the college football memorabilia booth with wooden helmets with your favorite college football team's logo on them? I'd love to hear what you guys think. You know me though, one rare thing in art fairs that I've only seen a handful of times is I have seen people having like handmade books and handmade zines and stuff. Wish I saw more of that. I'm too shy to get a booth in art fair right now. And also, I don't know how much it costs to get a booth there because I feel like I would have to sell a lot of books to justify it. You never know, though. Maybe someday there will be a secret restaurant art booth in the art fair with all of our books just waiting to be indulged in. How fun would that be? Trying to think what else I've been up to since we spoke last week. Trying to think. Have you guys ever played pickleball? I did not know what pickleball was. I was thinking it was something super intense with like I think I was confusing it with racquetball. And then when I went to play pickleball with some friends, it was not what I expected. But I will say, I was kind of making fun of it. And to be clear, the crew I was with was a little bit of court hogs. I don't know if probably none of them listen to this, but let me tell you something. You guys were court hogs. I did get to play just randomly 3-on-3 until one of them was like, there's too many people on the court. God, I was playing with the Tom Brady of pickleball. That was my apologies. But I will say, dude, because I know I complain about this all the time. I have had some issues with my back and stuff. And so really, I even dropped down and make sure I could still do 25 push-ups recently, and I could. But I need to start working out because when I did play pickleball, I played for like maybe 15, 20 minutes. And I was like really sore the next day. Strikingly sore. Like as striking as striking the pickleball across the net way too far out of the little square that God decided was inbounds or outbounds. Pickleball, the court is way smaller than I thought too. I kept on hitting it just slightly out of bounds. I don't know if I'll be invited back. I really can't do competitive shit because I get agitated. And I feel like part of my agitation is not even with random people. It's with when I see someone else who is taking it really seriously. It like pisses me off. I don't know if that makes sense. But then I just like start getting mad or something. Who takes pickleball seriously? It's like wiffle ball for tennis. People don't take wiffle ball seriously. Oh, people probably do take wiffle ball seriously. Whatever, man. I'll just sit to the sideline and watch them look like, not pickles, rather dildos. Dildo ball. That's what it should be. Fucking. If anyone is listening to this, I am sorry. I would like to be invited back to your friend circles. I just want to make that clear. I would like to be invited back to any friend circles that were kind enough to have me at one point in time.
Y'all ready to get fucking cooked in this pickleball match? Hey, yo, we just cooked you in wiffle ball for tennis. Hey, I'm undefeated this day. I'm undefeated today in wiffle ball. Wiffle tennis ball. Wiffle pickle tennis ball. That was out. No, that was in. You're cheating.
Nah, but that day, what else did I do? I don't know if I did anything important. Ooh, I wanted to talk about some music, though. Because I've talked about recently the rock and roll Jersey retired heavy metal band, Every Time I Die. And their respective projects after their harsh breakup have been releasing new music. I listened to the new Many Eyes album, which is the latest band by the singer of Every Time I Die, with new band members. And I gotta say, I was pretty excited with this new project. It's an EP. It's only 4 songs, but I think maybe if you get the physical, well, I won't say that because I'm not for certain. But I was pretty excited about the lyrics. I felt like, because he's one of my favorite lyricists of all time, and I've been pretty influenced by his songs lyrically in Every Time I Die. And I felt like the last project was a little bit introspective and there wasn't really the same kind of sarcasm or wordplay, so to speak, or even just the vocabulary wasn't as surprising in the first Many Eyes project. But this last EP, I feel like it's a return to form with turn of phrase and unexpected, maybe misdirection would be the proper term. Misdirection, not always comedic misdirection, but just like having a line and then having the next line be unexpected or create new meaning to the first line. Things like that. Poetic devices such as that. So I was pretty stoked about it. I was listening to it while watching Iowa win their third game this year against Rutgers. Hell yeah. That was a crazy, sorry for being all over the board topic-wise, but Iowa Hawkeyes are back, baby. I was pretty impressed with their quarterback that game. I hope that stays true the rest of the season with his rushing and passing. He's probably one of the best quarterbacks, probably the best quarterback I've seen in an Iowa jersey in several years. And next week they have Indiana, who just literally kicked the shit out of Wisconsin. And they're ranked 11th. Indiana is, so that might be a tough game to watch. We shall see. Hoping that defense gets tight. Hoping that offense keeps on rolling. Sorry, I was mistaken. They were Indiana actually beat Illinois, not Wisconsin. But I don't think that anyone listening to this podcast is going to be mad at me for that little mix-up. Do I need to talk about any other sports? Probably not. Dude, the Cubs are on a fart fest. What the hell? They clinched the playoffs, and now they're just melting into the dirt. I thought maybe the strategy was that they were saving their real heat for their home stretch. They've got 6 home games, well now 5 home games. Wondering if they were trying to save some of their moves, some of their good pitching, some of their good decisions with their lineup for their home stretch, but then they just lost again last night. A game that they probably shouldn't have lost. I will continue to have faith in the Cubs. Sox had a tough loss too. Started to talk about baseball. You know, especially when your teams are flailing in the wind. Bears won. Big Bears win. First win of the season. We'll see how that goes. I guess, dude, yeah. Is the NFC North the best division in football? A lot of people in the Midwest seem to think so. Maybe people outside of the Midwest want to dispute it. But both the Bears' losses came from NFC North teams. You know what I was thinking about? This is my last thought, and I'm going to cut it out. But I've always kind of been an advocate of, like, seeing past rivalries, especially, like, rivalries of cross-city rivalries or division rivalries. And I've always really hated the other teams in the NFC North. But I think last year, after 3 of the 4 NFC North teams made the playoffs, it's kind of funny to think maybe division rivalries, there is a possibility where they don't need to hate each other so much. Because I wish I could vote. I wish I could vote for the Vikings for the next presidential election. Just have the Minnesota Vikings in office. Vikings in the office. I think my brain is getting a little tired after this brilliant, radiant light of podcasting. But yeah, lived in Minnesota. I always liked the Twins growing up. I wish I could root for the Vikings more. I kind of was rooting for them last week, and I was thrilled that the Packers lost. I'll just say that. All right, I'm out of here. Throwback episode from January 22nd, 2025. The throwbacks are slimming down, which is good because I feel like I've outgrown them. But I am trying to keep them all in the rotation of all my Spotify locations. In the rotation of location. Whoa! Rotation of location. Very nice. All right. I'll see you guys later. I'll see you guys maybe even before you listen to this. Maybe I'll see you in the future before I see you now when you think about it. All right. Goodbye.